you're looking very breedable. What are you talking about? He's like, I'm gonna put a robot baby in you. He's like, what the fuck are you talking about? Hello, I just wanted to thank you for clicking on my video, and I wanted to let you know not only do I create content in my YouTube channel here, Class in a Glass, but I'm also on Twitch where I play single-player games, multiplayer games. I do movie reviews, cartoon reviews, and a whole bunch of other stuff. Also, it would be a big help if you can check out my Patreon, where you can gain access to audio commentaries, reactions, and the ability to submit questions for my podcasts and videocasts. And all that content can be found in the links below. In the meantime, enjoy the video.
Unfortunately, no one can be told what the Matrix is. You have to see it for yourself.
We're about to get into my spoiler review, my scene by scene breakdown chat for the 1999's The Matrix, directed by the Wachowskis chat. After that, we'll be playing some Psychonauts 2. And then we'll end the stream with a little bit of Jackbox Party Pack, playing various games, chat, for your viewing pleasure. But now, my friends, we're going to go ahead and get into this review chat for The Matrix. All right? Directed by, as Wikipedia just says, the Wachowskis. Yeah, I will say that. Like, the fact that you have a "the" in the front of your name, it's not just Wachowskis. Or like their initials, it's literally the. How many filmmakers? I haven't been the biggest fan of the Wachowskis in quite some time, chat. I'll talk about that before I jump in my review, the nitty-gritty spoilery details. But few filmmakers have the in front of their name. Very surprised by that, chat. But I am curious, chat. Before we jump in this review, I need to ask you a very important question. That question being, how many of you have seen 1999's The Matrix? The guys at Alien vs. Predator Requiem have that? Well, they didn't fucking deserve it. I'll tell you that much. Like, I don't think the Wachowskis made a good movie in many years, but they did make The Matrix. Give them that. Yeah. Now, Brenny, I don't know. You rascal, I have D's Nuts 420. That's a hell of a name. Thank you so much for the follow. You're my new Huckleberry. Welcome to the stream. To Rascal, I have. I don't know. Josh, I haven't really. Wow, I thought you might have seen this one. That's good. I'm going to tell you the tale of The Matrix, Josh. I seen it, but it's been ages since I watched it. Bach, I've seen the film 200 times. It's a very popular movie among many people. The first Matrix I like, and then it just got crazy. Got too crazy. Oh, I agree. Oh, it got. Crazy? Sure. Shitty? Also, yes. Also, yes, chat. No fucking question. I've not seen it, but I think I get the general idea. There's a red pill and a blue pill. Correct! Keanu Reeves says, whoa. Yes. And knows Kung Fu. True. And everyone moves super slow. There's slow motion, but are they moving slow? Or are they moving so fast? So, gonna mark you wrong for that one, Hamilton Burger. Big fucking negative point there. And we all live in the machine world, apparently. Did I get the basics? Some of them. I mean, we do live in a kind of, it's like an online world. I wouldn't say a machine world. It's more like an online computer program. So I'm going to get Docu 0.5. Not a full point, but I'm Docu 0.5. So you got some of them, but not all of it. These nuts, dude, you are the genius behind Double Toasted. I am indeed. Thank you for being here. I do appreciate it. I am in control of Double Toasted for the time being. Yeah, so it's my plaything at this moment. So it's been great. And it's an absolute pleasure to have you here, D's Nuts. Welcome. I'm reviewing The Matrix right now. I saw The Matrix is Bat Boy. I thought it was fine. I never get the fandom behind it. Fair enough. I want to go into that. Because I'm not going to be like, oh, Bat Boy, you don't know. Because I do think this movie has been sullied. I do think this reputation have been sullied in many different ways. And we'll talk about, and because of the things that came afterwards. I do think that has happened. And there's been less excitement over this film because of that. So I don't think you're wrong. I don't think you're wrong at all. I totally understand your perspective. Sissy Man, I barely saw it. It was like 2019 or early last year, so it didn't stick with you. Dude, I've seen this movie a couple of times. I might even do a watch party for it. I'm in the film for the Y2K crazies, really? I never thought about that. Wait, do you think Keanu Reeves' acting got better throughout the years? No. No. Raise his hand. Is this the one of Samuel Jackson, a.k.a. Lawrence Fishburne? It's funny you say that, Naya, because before Lawrence Fishburne was approached for the role, the Wachowskis did go to Samuel Jackson. They approached a number of actors to play the role of Morpheus. Samuel Jackson was one of those people, and also Val Kilmer. But they all passed on it. Glee, thank you so much for the 50 biddies. Appreciate that support. Hope you're doing very well. You love this movie? Nice. Nice. See? Yeah, you passed. You get a passing grade. That's not great. Chris Ayers, yeah, there's a fun Crazy Malignant, and then there's bad Crazy the Matrix sequels. I still think the Malignant is kind of bad, but to each their own. Well, we're living in the Matrix right now. What if chicken is not what we think it tastes like? We're living in the Matrix, chat. That's true. Boom. And apparently people didn't fucking get it. We'll talk about the history of this film in a bit. And Sean Connery. It was not. That's actually a misconception. Sean Connery is not approached to play the role of Morpheus. He was actually approached to play the role of the architect in the sequels, but he passed on it. A lot of people think he was approached to play Morpheus, but that was not the case. That was not the case. I looked it up beforehand to make sure, to double check. Thank you, Bad Hurricane, for resubscribing. 26 months, 2 years of support on a 4-month streak. Unbelievable, isn't it? Looking forward to this. Such an iconic film. Also, 26 months of you guys. Bad Hurricane, absolute pleasure to have you here. Thank you for that 26 months of patronage. Very kind of you. 16-bit. What if oxygen is poisonous to us and it takes long to kill us? That could be it, man. That could be it. Boy, the machines didn't know that. It's fucking nuts, right? Fucking nuts. Yeah, Gandalf. That's true. And it's funny. So Sean Connery, he passed on Gandalf because he didn't understand Lord of the Rings. He passed on the architect role in The Matrix. He goes, well, honestly, it was probably the best because the architect fucking sucks. Well, I'll talk about the Matrix sequel someday. I can't get into nitty-gritty details of Reloaded and what was it called again? Revolutions. I never remember the name of that. He was right to do that. Pass on Gandalf, and he said that he regretted doing that because he saw those movies were so big successes, and that's why he said yes to The League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, because he didn't get it, but he's like, well, this obviously is going to be a big hit, and it basically ended his career, and it didn't end his career, but he said, I'm fucking done. He retired after he made that movie, so, yeah, it's crazy, right? Nah, it's crazy how Will Smith said no to being Neo. He said himself he regrets doing it. You mean not doing it? Well, that's complicated. We'll talk about it, chat. So a lot of you have seen this movie. Some of you have not seen this movie. This is interesting. Or some of you have, you either love it, you're kind of mixed on it, or you don't see why it's a big deal, or the fandom around it. And I think that's very interesting because I think there's a reason for that. I did see this movie, Chin. I didn't see it in theaters because I was too young at the time, but I saw this movie before Matrix Reloaded came out. So I want to see, because wasn't Matrix Reloaded like 2002? So I saw The Matrix, like I think in 2002, like on DVD. I remember it being like one of the first DVDs I ever owned. And I loved it. I thought it was great. I thought it was super entertaining. I loved all the kung fu action scenes, chat. I loved the ideas of, we're living in a computer world created by the machines who rebelled against us and using us as fucking human batteries. It's really interesting ideas. Has a great fucking aesthetic, chat. I love the use of colors, especially for the Matrix, where that color it's very much green. It's green and brown, but then the real world is all like purples and blues and grays. I just really love the color palette of this movie. It's very stark, and it's smart because you know exactly where we are in the scene. Like where I was like, okay, we're not in the Matrix, we're in the real world. And when we're not in the real world, we're in the Matrix. I love all that shit. It's great. You have a hell of a fucking cast, chat. It's like, yes, Keanu Reeves is not a great actor, but he does a great job of playing the guy who doesn't know what the fuck is happening half the time, or most of the time. As Neo, Chad, as Thomas Anderson, Mr. Anderson. He's the guy's like, what's happening? I'm so confused. And that's usually what he's really good at playing in movies. I mean, I think that's part of his charm, that everyman charm. You also have Carrie-Anne Moss, Chad, as Trinity, who's a badass Chad. She's really the first character we're properly, along with, Hugo Weaving's Agent Smith, who is such a fantastic villain. Like, they're kind of the first two characters introduced in this movie. We get Lawrence Fishburne, who kind of had, like, a career renaissance because of this film. It brought him back, I think, into the public eye, even though he had been working for decades throughout, the 70s and the 80s, and then the 90s. Like, I think for a lot of people, this was a lot of our generation, millennials, our first exposure to Lawrence Fishburne. You have a number of other character actors, Chad, Joe Pantoliano, who previously worked with the Wachowskis in Bound, which I have not seen. But because of that relationship, brought him in as the human villain of Cypher. Yeah, I'm a big fan of this film, chat. But I will say, and I'm glad people were bringing up in the chat, Deadpool, good to see him. Hope you're doing very well. Gano is not a great actor, but he has gotten better at picking roles that fit his limited range. I agree with you. Yes. I will say, I do think that this movie's reputation has been sullied. And it's because I think of just lackluster sequels and shitty adaptations. You know, the Matrix sequels, Reloaded and Revolutions, I think are really bad movies. Reloaded sometimes skirts by for some people, but I really don't. As I said before, chat, I talked about this on stream several times. Summer Baby, hi, Summer Baby, welcome to stream. I've talked about this on streams several times where I remember watching Matrix Reloaded and just kind of being bored by the movie, the whole fucking rave orgy scene, just like there's nothing really happening. But I remember when I was watching the scene with the Merovingian, or stupid name. I don't know what the hell his name is. You know who he is, the philosophy guy, who just goes on and on and on and on, and then talks about how he's going to use a piece of cherry pie to make that woman over there orgasm. And we go inside the Matrix, and we see the Matrix, and we go inside of her vagina, and the orgy Matrix happens, and she goes, ugh. And I'm like, I'm watching a bad movie. That was the scene where I went, this is awful. And then Revolutions happened, and I barely remember anything of that movie. I can't remember the title. And I think because the sequels to The Matrix were so bad, The Matrix, which it was an incredibly influential film. Like, you know, say what it's will about its impact now, good or ill, but it was very influential. You had all these parodies. Everyone's fucking dressing up with these characters. Everyone's fucking quoting a chat. There's no doubt about that. But those two movies had a serious negative impact on its reputation. And you had a lot of bad, you know, adaptations in terms of video games. There were some awful fucking games. There's this one game, I forget what it was. They had a failed MMO. And it was so funny because the Wachowskis at the time, they said, oh, the Matrix is going to live on in video games. And now has it? You had a failed MMO. You had that one game, which I think is considered to be like one of the worst games ever made in, It was the one where it had Jada Pinkett Smith's character. She's not in this one. She's in the sequels. Her character and another character. And that was like a spin-off game. It was an Enter the Matrix. That was called. Thank you, Bad Arcane. And awful. Glitchy. So bad. And that thing failed, obviously. And that was, but there was the Matrix Online with the MMO, which died. Which, you know, because everyone's being part of the MMO craze. Now was this one that just died in the vine. It didn't survive. And, we did have the Animatrix. We did have the Animatrix chat, which I liked it, which was kind of like side stories. Didn't that come out like around the same time as Reloaded? I forget if it came out like immediately after the Matrix, or it was like around the same time Reloaded came out. Anyway, it doesn't matter. I like the Animatrix. I think that was cool, and exploring all these different side stories and stuff. I really like that. But outside of that, there really hasn't been anything good from this property. Most of it's just bad. Even the mainline films got bad. And I think that's why people have kind of, and I totally understand this view, just like, yeah, who cares anymore? And I'm like, yeah, I understand. I totally get that. And we do have The Matrix 4 coming out. The Matrix Resurrections takes place, you know, it's 20 plus years after the original film. 17 years after the original movie, or, you know, the third one came out. And I like what I'm seeing. It looks cool. It's kind of interesting to see these characters back together, at least some of them back together again, like, you know, Trinity and Neo Thomas Anderson. I do like that, but I'm like everyone else, and I think we should have some healthy skepticism in regards to that movie, because I don't think the Wachowskis have been pumping out good content for a while. Speed Racer, I know, has its fans. I'm not really a big fan of that movie. I dislike Cloud Atlas immensely. I think Jupiter Ascending is one of the best sci-fi comedies in years. So yeah, I just really haven't liked their films. I know that one of the Wachowskis is directing this, one of the sisters. But that has me concerned. I would be much more interested in this movie, or at least more excited, keeping my expectations in check, if none of them were involved. Because I don't think I really do think that they kind of lost the plot of what they wanted this to be. You know, maybe they had these grander ideas. Maybe they were forced to think on their, you know, their feet a little too much, but it hurt the property. It did hurt the property. So at the end of the day, it just, I didn't care for it. Dabble, thank you for the $5 biddies. Appreciate that. So yeah, I mean, no, I agree with you. I think there's a lot that can be explored. No, I believe that. I'm hoping that they can do better with this new movie, and we'll see, chap. But yeah, I don't know. Like everybody else, a lot of people love the original movie, really like the Animatrix, but outside that, I think the property and the franchise has been kind of a failure for the most part, which is too bad because it started off so fucking strong, so goddamn strong, chap. But I'm hoping for the best. I never want to go into a movie and want it to fail. It's like even if I'm skeptical, even if I maybe not particularly like the franchise, the last thing I want to do is just sit there and just be, miserable. Like, oh, well, I'm vindicated, but I hate this. It's like, no. Like, fucking prove to me that you can be really good. I'll be like, and I admit it. I'll be like, I'll admit when I'm wrong. I'll admit, like, my skepticism. It's like, it didn't affect my enjoyment of the film. I will say that, but we'll see. But chat, we got to go ahead and talk about some of the other factors in regards to this movie. This movie was interesting because this script was going around Hollywood for quite some time, and it was the film that no one understood. It was the script that no one understood. You had all these actors who were reading it, people like Will Smith, people like Leonardo DiCaprio, Brad Pitt, Val Kilmer, all these people who read it. Some got it, some didn't, but they all passed on it, chat. Famously, you had, of course, you know about Sean Connery passing on the film because he didn't understand it with the architect and things. But that was the sequels, though, chat. But, like originally, Lawrence Fishburne's role of Morpheus, the Wachowskis went to Gary Oldman, Samuel Jackson, Val Kilmer, and they didn't understand the plot. Lawrence Fishburne famously did understand it. He just thought it was unfilmable because it was a high-concept movie. And then with the Neo role, chat, the one, if you will, they initially had, they went with Nicolas Cage, but he turned down the role because he had, quote-unquote, family obligations. Leonardo DiCaprio actually accepted the role, and he was going to play Neo, chat, but he backed out because he didn't want to work on another CGI-heavy film, chat. He had just finished Titanic, and he didn't want to be involved in another project where it was all a bunch of fucking green screens and shit. You wanted to avoid something like that. And they also looked at Brad Pitt and Val Kilmer, who passed in the movie. It's funny, they went with Val Kilmer. They had him read for both Neo and for Morpheus, chat, play either role. But they eventually, and I think they looked at Johnny Depp to eventually, I think the two people they were looking at, it was Johnny Depp and Reeves. The studio was pushing for Will Smith, who passed on the role because he didn't understand it. He thought the idea of the bullet time thing was stupid, and he would go later on to be in Wild Wild West, chat. And he said he regrets not being in the film, but he thinks that Keanu Reeves is the better choice for the role because how he would have played would have been very different from Keanu, because he described it as like, I would have been myself. I would have been like the guy that knows everything. I would have been fucking Slick Willy and shit like that. Whereas the character needs to be that guy who doesn't know what the fuck's going on. And Keanu Reeves did that. So I like that Will Smith's being very humble about it. Like, no, he was the obvious choice. And I can totally see that because that's what the Thomas Anderson, the Neo character, needs to be. He needs to be the audience avatar. He needs to be a fish out of water going like, I don't know what the fuck is happening. That general shock. And, we can go on and on about Keanu Reeves' acting abilities, but his lack of acting abilities served him well for this movie, I think. And that's why, in a way, he was perfectly cast as Neo. And then you had a number of other actors who were approached to play Trinity. Famously, Janet Jackson was initially going to play Trinity, but she had to back out because she had scheduling conflicts with her music career. And they eventually went with Carrie-Anne Moss. I think some other people like Selma, I think maybe even Selma Hayek was considered at one point too, but I don't know what happened in that regard. So a lot of people, this script was passed around. A lot of people were considered for all these roles, but we never really landed with this. And of course, when the movie came out, it was the movie that no one had any confidence in. It was made with a budget of $63 million. Had a box office chat at $465.3 million. It was a huge fucking hit. And it was one of the best movies I think it was the highest grossing movie of 1999. Or one of the highest grossing movies of 1999. Did very fucking well for itself. And history was made. Better or for worse, chat. You be the judge of that. But now, my friends, let's go ahead and get into the nitty-gritty details of The Matrix, chat. We start, chat, Opening credits, The Matrix. Various fucking green text is on the screen, chat. It's numbers, it's ones and zeros. It's the alphabet. It's Chinese symbols. It's Chinese, Japanese squig. A lot of squiggles, chat. A lot of squiggles. Do I know what the squiggles mean? I don't fucking know. They're very hard, chat, but there's a lot of squiggles, chat. And then we cut, and we are at an abandoned hotel with a woman, with Carrie-Anne Moss, who's playing Trinity, but we don't know that's her name yet, in hot, skin-tight leather, chat. And I will say, Carrie-Anne Moss, she looks fucking great in this hot, skin-tight leather. Everyone who's wearing leather in this movie looks fucking great. Lawrence Fishburne looks great. He's in the best shape of his fucking life in this film. He looks handsome as hell, chat. He's got those sexy glasses. Joe Pantoliano, he's got like a soul patch, but he's wearing hot leather, chat. You see the nips through the hot leather. You want to see Joe Pantoliano nips? Watch The Matrix, chat. Like, everyone looks really good in this movie. And the other characters whose names you don't know, like Switch and APOC. I don't know what APOC means, but they look good too. Like, you just wear leather in this movie. I like in a world where you can just wear leather all across your body and look great in it, because I think that's a rare thing. Not many people can pull that off, but these actors pulled it off, chat, so tip my hat to them already. But Carrie-Anne Moss, she's talking on an old school, like, 80s phone with like one of those rotary phones, chat, and she's going on about, I'm trying to find this guy, Neo, but it's super hard. I think I located him, chat. But we outside, the police are coming into this hotel, and they're being led, chat, by Agent Smith, by Hugo Weaving, who does such a great goddamn job in this role. And what's so cool is, like, he talks like this. I'm going to enjoy killing you, Mr. Anderson. And Hugo Weaving based his voice off of radio announcers from the 50s and 60s, chat, in particular, and particularly Walter Cronkite, chats. That's why he has that cadence, the way he talks, kind of sing-songy, but very specific enunciation, Mr. Anderson. I love that about it. It just looks, he's the only one that really sounds like that compared to, I mean, some of the Smiths have that, but his is like super pronounced, and I just love that. He looks great too. He's got that fucking just gray suit, chat. And we're gonna explain the Smiths and the Matrix in a bit, chat, but it's a cold fucking open. And so he's leading the troops in there, chat. They burn he's like, well, send in the fucking, the computer people. We don't know the computer people yet, chat, but send in the SWAT team. They burst down the fucking door, the cops, and they're like, freeze, Leather Lady! And Leather Lady, she puts her hands up, but she ain't fucking freezing, chat, okay? She's gonna give him the good old crane kick, and she fucking jumps up, and she starts snapping necks, chat, kicking everybody's ass, but she's got to get out of there, all right? Because she can't fight. She's like showing off some abilities we've never seen before, chat. She's moving so fast, it looks like she's moving slow. It's in slow motion, wrecking shop, okay? But she's got to get out of the fucking building. But she's being chased by these Smiths, chat, by these agents. And they can move just as well as she can, if not better, chat. And she's jumping from one building. And I will say that my one criticism of this movie overall, like, it's not with the acting, it's not destroying the lore. All that's handled really well, in my opinion. It's just that it's a 20-plus-year-old movie, and there are effects that are dated at this point. A lot of the practical stuff still holds up. A lot of the set design still holds up. And when we get to the Nebuchadnezzar, like, I love the look of that ship. It's very Ridley Scott inspired, like Alien. It just everything feels very lived in. Everyone's clothes. I really like that. Even this world, like when we're initially in the Matrix, chat, in the abandoned hotel, and we're seeing the city, I just love the green-brown aesthetic. It's so kind of repressive, and we'll get into why that is. There's a reason for why it has that particular color palette, which I think is very interesting. But the CGI it doesn't hold up anymore. It doesn't. The CGI is a little rough. There's a lot of green screen. And like when we see it, like it's like, ooh, and it hurts because when I'm watching on my 1080p screen, not even 4K, 1080p screen, on my smart TV, chat, watching this via HBO Max, you can tell. It's just, Carrie-Anne Moss jumping over that building, and like, that ain't real. That ain't fucking real. But she fucking jumps over it, chat. Fucking Agent Smith, he jumps over it too. And he's, chasing after her, but she's like, I gotta fucking get going. I gotta bamboozle him, chat. She manages to get down the goddamn ground, and she's being told to get to a location. You need to get your leather fanny, to a fucking payphone right now. We don't know why. We're like, oh, what the hell is that? In order for her to get out of there, it's like, okay. And she gets to a fucking payphone. She's there, but then we see this fucking truck coming right at her, chat, like this garbage truck. The speed, like, yeah, Miranda rights, get your fucking Miranda rights out of my goddamn face. I'm gonna run you over, Leather Mama. And so that's what this Agent Smith is doing, chat. Vroom, hits the fucking phone booth. He gets out. Well, that's a job well done. I took care of Leather Mama, but now she's disappeared, chat. Where the hell did she go? And he's like, son of a bitch. We'll get them soon enough. But then, chat, boom, we cut from that, and we are with Keanu Reeves, chat. Neo, he is a hacker boy. His hacker name, chat, is Neo, and he's surrounded by various Windows, 95 computers, chat. He's got the Windows 95 screensavers. They look very old. It's 90s. It's set in 1999, chat. And, it's the time the movie came out, and that's the time period which seemingly the movie takes place. And he lives in a shitty apartment, chat. He's super pale and emaciated. He just looks like a miserable, sorry sack of shit. Just surrounded by, like, all his, Coke cans and his Cheetos and stuff. It's like, how can you be eating all this fucking food and yet, he's malnourished, obviously, if you're just fucking drinking Coke and eating Cheetos all goddamn day. But you expect him to be fat, chap. He's like, I ain't gonna be fat, all right? I'd rather be emaciated than be fat. He's looking really pale, and he's been doing research, chat, because in the hackosphere, if you will, chat, in the interwebs, if you will, he keeps seeing this repeated thing in the code, the Matrix. And he doesn't understand what it is. He's confused by it. But he hears a knock on his door, and he opens the door, chat, and all of his hacker friends are there. I don't know what the fuck their name is, Gigawatt and, Chiptune and shit. And they're like, you want to go to a bar, Neo? The White Rabbit? And he's like, yeah. And he's like, cool. And so we see this one lady with the fucking white rabbit tattoo like on her. I was like, what's that all about? You're gonna send me down the hole with Alice in Wonderland? All right, let's fucking go to Alice in Wonderland with Neo, chat. And he goes to the goddamn club. The whitewash Neo. Did they? Well, they had Neo, like, it could be played by any race. And, like, Keanu Reeves is half Asian. But they were going with various different people. I mean, they were Will Smith, Leonardo DiCaprio, all different kinds of people. And it doesn't really matter, like, what Neo's race is, so they settled on Keanu Reeves. And I think he does a good job. But he's hanging out in the club, chat, and he's acting really awkward. He is used to clubs. And he's kind of just standing there in his fucking hoodie and just like, whatever. But then this lady approaches him, chat, and it's fucking Trinity, who we saw earlier. And she's like, hey, how you doing, stud? Oh, God, you're so hot. Like, she obviously, as soon as she looks at Neo, she's like, oh, my God, you're so hot. But I can't tell you that I love you because that's what the Oracle told me. I have to tell you at a very key point at the end of the movie. And so you'll feel inspired to come back and save the day. So she can't reveal that, chat, but there's instant chemistry between Keanu Reeves and Carrie-Anne Moss. Like, you feel that. You feel the love, chat. It's like, I like to see what's going to happen between these two characters, chat. I want to see them fuck. Thank you, Casfae, for resubscribing. I do appreciate that. And all hackers are fat. I'm not saying all hackers are fat, but it's interesting that his diet consists of Coca-Cola and Cheetos, and he looks so skinny. I'm like, I take umbrage with that, but whatever, chat. And she's like, listen, I want to introduce you to this guy named Morpheus. He has all the answers to the Matrix, which you've been looking. He's like, you know about the Matrix? She goes, that's what I said. That's what I said. So I want to take you to Morpheus, okay? He's going to contact you. And he's like, I got work in the morning. I need to go. And thank you, by the way. Who are these kind people? Steph, thank you for the follow. Welcome, Steph. Hope you're doing very well. Currently doing my review, my scene breakdown for The Matrix, a 1999 film. And thank you, Kaz. Oh, thank you again, Kaz, for your subscribing, as I said before. Really kind of you guys. Yay. You probably can't cook. Yes. I would say so, Summer Baby. I would say so. That sounds about right. But he's like, I have to go to work tomorrow. I don't have any time to meet Morpheus. And she's like, fucking Christ. Okay, if he's the one, I couldn't believe it. And then, chat, we're introduced to Office Space Neo, and his boss is like, yeah, Tom. His name is actually not Neo at this point. That's his hacker name, chat, but his regular name is Thomas Anderson. And his boss is like, yeah, Tommy, I'm gonna need you to come in on Saturday and finish those reports for us. Yeah, I need you to do that. And then I'm gonna have you I'm gonna have to have you come in on Sunday too and prep the reports for Monday that we're gonna do. Okay? Yeah. All right, I'll see you. He's like, okay. And he's just beaten down, Chad. He just works in his fucking cubicle. He looks fucking miserable. It's like the movie Office Space, Chad. But he gets a little ring-a-ding-ding from Morpheus himself on his phone. And Morpheus is like, they're coming for you. He's like, what are you talking about? They know that you're a hacker, Neo, but you need to listen to my voice, okay? You need to come to me so I can explain the Matrix. He's like, oh, Jesus, God. And so he fucking gets up. He's like, where do I go? He's like, turn right, turn left. Now go outside the skyscraper. We are 50 stories above the ground, chat. And he's like, but it's really high. And he's like, it's okay, Neo. I will guide you. And so Neo goes on the outside and he starts moving and shit. And he's like, whoa, this is really scary. He's like, it's okay, Neo, okay? Trust in me. Trust in me. And Neo's like, fuck that. He goes back inside and he ends up being arrested, chat, by the Popo and Agent Smith and the various other Smiths. And so they have him in the interrogation room, chat, which, again, I love. The color palette always is green. It's green, yellow, or it's green, brown. And, like, the abandoned hotel, it's that. Neo's apartment, that. The cubicles, it just, you have, like, those giant fucking fluorescent lights above. And you have this, everything just has that, like, almost like pea soup green color, like, on the bottom, like the cubicles and the rug and shit. And it feels so oppressive. And like working in like a similar environment like that when I had my day job, I like, oh, like you feel miserable. You become sadder, chat. You feel like Neo did a great job with it, I will say. And then we're in the interrogation room, chat. It's the same color palette again. It's that green again. And then, of course, this is when we get fucking Agent Smith, chat. Mr. Anderson, according to your rap sheet here, you've committed multiple federal crimes. Now, I want you to help us help you. Do you know anyone named Morpheus or any of his acolytes? And Neo's like, I want my phone call. And he's like, Mr. Anderson, you're looking very handsome right now. He's like, what? He's like, you're looking very breedable. What are you talking about? He's like, I'm gonna put a robot baby in you. He's like, what the fuck are you talking about? And then they first of all, they manipulate the Matrix to make his fucking mouth like just close in on itself, Chad. He can't fucking talk anymore. It's like he's got some Play-Doh skin on it. And then they fucking put him on the goddamn interrogation table, Chad. And Mr. Smith, Agent Smith, he pulls out what looks like a little pen, like a little plastic pen. Looks like it's got something inside of it. And he opens it up, and it's a little baby shrimp robot. And he's like, we're going to bug you. We're going to impregnate Thomas. We're going to impregnate Neo. And he unleashes this, chat. And we see Keanu Reeves' happy trail, but it's not happy anymore, chat. And this thing falls on his chest. And it's like, and it's like just squirming around him and everything until it finds his belly button. And it just starts like, just like getting inside of his tummy, chat. Just goes right up in his tum-tum through his belly button, which I don't think is fucking possible, chat. And so the Smiths impregnate Neo with a little baby shrimp robot. But then, he wakes up in his room, chat. He's like, oh, it was just a dream. I'm fine. It's really fucking, that scene's like, what the fuck? Because that's why we really start to see all the kind of body horror shit, and like the mouth. Because this is what establishes the Smiths. We find out what they really are. But it shows that, okay, these guys can manipulate the Matrix to an even greater degree than someone like Trinity can at this point. where they can actually change the person's physiology. They have these little devices that can go inside people. Like, really, really disturbing. It's the unhappy trail, very much so. I was about to say, wait a minute, do people ship Agent Smith and Neo? Neo's so pale. They probably do. I'm sure there are just tens of thousands of erotic stories featuring Agent Smith and Mr. Anderson. There's no doubt about that. Maybe I should look that up. I'll look that up later, Chad, see if I can find an erotic story featuring those two characters, Chad. What would the babies of Hugo Weaving and Keanu Reeves look like, Chad? I ask you. Anyway, but he wakes up, Chad, and he gets a little ring-a-ding-ding from Trinity. And Trinity's like, what the fuck? Why weren't you listening to Morpheus? He's like, I was scared. She's like, all right, listen. You probably were already with the Smiths. Do you want to know what fucking is actually happening? Do you want to see Morpheus now? Okay. He's like, yeah, I do. And so he goes outside. It's fucking pouring rain at this point. He's like under a bridge. And Trinity comes up in this car along with two other characters, Chad. I believe their names are Switch and APOC. APOC has a man bun. Switch is the very pale white lady with the blonde hair, or nearly white hair. And she wears all white leather. She wears white leather. Like, everyone else is wearing, like, black leather, maybe brownish black leather, but she's the one like, I'm going to be different, and she wears white leather, Chad. It's like, okay, you want to stand out. Switch. All right. And so she's like, Trinity opens the door, and she's like, get in. And he's like, okay. And he gets in the fucking car, and they shut the door, and he's like, oh, and shit. She's like, listen, we need to get the robot baby out of your tummy. He's like, what? And she grabs this giant, like, machine, which just sucks out babies, chat. And she's like, what are you talking about? And he's like, take off your shirt. He's like, what? And he fucking takes off his shirt. And she puts this giant suction cup, goes right on there. And she turns the machine on. It's like a sonogram machine. And she's like, oh, there's a little sucker. And you have, APOC and Switch going, you're going to lose it. She's like, don't worry, I got him. He's like, oh, and it's like it's this huge suction where, like, stuff comes out of him, like meat, like blood and meat and pus. I'm like, I think you sucked out some of his, not that it matters. I'm like, no, I guess it does matter, because what happens in the Matrix also what happens in real life. But they suck out the baby, the robot baby shrimp, chat, because it is a bug. It's like, knows, like, it's keeping track of Neo. They suck it out along with some meat or whatever. It's like, really just like, fuck. And then they throw it outside and it dies because it needs to be inside the host. And at this point, they take Neo to Morpheus in another shitty looking abandoned hotel. They go up the stairs and they do their own thing. And we see him, chat, Lawrence fucking Fishburne, which I think this might be his most iconic role. He does such a great job here, chat. But just his outfit, he has that really long, like, black leather coat, chat, that goes all the way down to his shoes. He has those fucking glasses that don't have, like, that just rest on his nose. Like, they don't have the bands that go behind it. He just puts them on his nose, and it's so good. And he's got that, I don't know, something about like his face and the fact that he's bald, and so you're always, like, just looking at the glasses, always into his eyes, and he's almost like he's hypnotizing you. And he kind of is in a way, because because he makes all these, like, references to Alice in Wonderland and talking about illusions and everything. Like, I can show you what reality truly is. And it's like, yeah, you're transfixed by his face. And they did a great job of making sure that they casted him. Cowboy Curse is pretty iconic, though. I mean, that's true. That is true. That is very true. You're not wrong, Steph. But he just has a really good look in the film. I think if you think of The Matrix, other than perhaps Keanu Reeves, I think most people would actually think of Lawrence Fishburne. I feel like that's, like, kind of the main two people. He just has a really, really great look. Yeah, the agent's leaning his mouth, the baby machine going, being removed from the it's really creepy. It's just like, I forget, like, how much meat they extract from his belly button. Just sucks it out. But he's like, listen, Morpheus is like, I'm going to keep it very simple to you, Neo. I can show you the truth, okay? I can reveal everything to you. What is real and what is not real. And you only need to do one thing for me. And he goes behind him, and he produces these two pills, a blue pill and a red pill. And he explains that you have to choose which pill you wish to take. The blue pill, you'll simply wake up in your bed tomorrow morning, go on with the rest of your life, forgetting all this. If you take the red pill, the truth shall be revealed to you. And he was like, okay. And he fucking takes the red pill, pops that in his mouth, chat, swallows it, takes some water, drinks that shit. I'm going to take a drink myself, chat. And he's like, all right, what's next? And he's like, okay, man, come with us, come with us. And they walk into another room. Like, we're just going to sit you down here. We're going to put a few tubes in you to make sure that, because this process is kind of crazy. You haven't used your limbs in a long time. You haven't moved around. He's like, what are you talking about? I'm moving around. He's like, ha, it's an illusion, man. And Mio's like, what? He's like, nothing's real, man. And he's like, honey, he looks at his reflection in the mirror. And it's all weird. He's like, that's kind of odd. And he touches the mirror, and his finger goes through it like it's a liquid, and it comes out. And it's like this liquid that starts to go down his hand, his arm. It goes over his body. And he's like, and it goes like inside of his mouth. And we hear all these computerized, all these computerized noises. And then we cut, chat. We cut, and we see like someone's waking up, chat. Like, it's like, oh, we're in the womb. It's like we're in our mother's womb, chat. But then Neo wakes up, and he goes, and he bursts out of this fucking container, chat, where he's as smooth as a baby, chat. We have a hairless Keanu Reeves. Actually did remove all the hair on his body, chat. Shaved his head, shaved his eyebrows, shaved the pubes, chat. Pubeless down there, okay? And he's a disgusting, emaciated 30-year-old baby boy. And he comes out of this chat, he's like, just screaming, as you would, chat. And he looks around him, and you have these giant fucking towers everywhere, chat, everywhere, all with these pods connecting, these pink, like, fleshy looking pods filled with human beings. And we see like these things moving like around them, chat, like these squiddies. And then we see, chat, this giant mechanical squiddy comes up and starts like poking him and shit, and grabs him, and it's like, impure. And then it flushes him down the toilet, because it's like, well, you're not a good human battery anymore. We need to get rid of you. And it flushes him, chat. And, Keanu Reeves' little shriveled, non-working penis is flapping in the breeze, chat. And he falls into the splooge pool, where all the dead bodies and extra splooge go. So we're like, we don't need you anymore. So into the splooge pool you go, where we'll eventually use your DNA to grow you. And he's like, ah! And he can't, his limbs are all fucking like derpy. He's got like derpy limbs, chat, because he hasn't used them, because he is in a fucking computer the whole time. It's a fucking, he was just online, chat. That's what it is. It was an illusion. And so he's almost drowning. But then we see this giant fucking ship appear above him, Chad. Opens up, and this claw comes out, and it attaches to his body, and it covers his little shriveled, non-working peen. And it lifts him up, and he's like, oh, just covered in splooge. And he's taken up there. And we see Morpheus, and we see Trinity, and these other characters, Chad. We see APOC, we see Switch, these other people we've never seen before. And they're like, oh, shit, he's having a bad reaction. We shouldn't have woken him up. People this old shouldn't be woken up, because they usually die or go crazy, but they're plugging him with so many tubes and shit. And they've managed to stabilize him, chat. They managed to fucking stabilize him. And we see these flashes of like he's looking at all these fucking people and everything. And he spends like time recovering. He spends time sleeping. Some of his hair starts to grow back, chat. We see his eyebrows come in. He's got a little bit of that peach fuzz on that hair. He's got little pubes. And he's like, ugh. And then eventually he wakes up. And it looks like he's almost on a submarine or something. Almost like he's in a submarine, chat. It's the Nebuchadnezzar, which is the name of the ship, which we'll explain more. It looks like it's like a flying submarine. But he wakes up, he opens the door, and they're like, ah, shit, Neo, you're awake. And he's like, where the fuck am I? And Morpheus is like, you're in the now, man. You're in the real world. He's like, what? And so he introduces him to like all the other characters. The people I already said before, Trinity, of course. APOC, Switch, introduced the character of Mouse. I think we're introduced to Dozer and Tank. Also introduced to Cypher, Joe Pantoliano's Cypher chat. Maybe, I think that's I think that's everybody. Everyone's saying hi, and he's like, this is fucking nuts. I can't believe it. And Morpheus is like, listen, man, I'm gonna give you some exposition, but it's gonna be like the coolest fucking exposition ever. He's like, you want to go inside the Matrix? He's like, what the fuck is that? Oh, by the way, you have a fucking plug in the back of your head. Huh? He has like this outlet. He has this, because he always touches it, and he's like, oh, what the fuck? Like, he has all these holes on his body chat where all the tubes were hooked up into him. It's crazy. And he's like, that's what we do, man. We got to go inside the Matrix, and I'll explain everything. And so they load him up. They load up Lawrence Fishburne. They load up Keanu Reeves, and boom! They enter into the Matrix, but it's like this all-white room. And he's like, what the fuck? And he's like, but this is not what I look like. It's what your mind wants you to look like, how you perceive yourself inside of here. And he's like, what is this? What happened? He's like, all right, man. So you thought it was 1999. It's not 1999, chat. Not 1999. Matter of fact, it's actually hundreds. I think it's like a few hundred years in the future. It's like the late 21st century. And like during the mid 21st century, what we did is that we made AI. We made robot squiddies. And it was pretty good for a while, but the robot squiddies rebelled against us, okay? And we fought a war, and we decimated the planet, and it caused ecological disasters, and eventually everything blocked out the sun, and all the robot squiddies, the robots, chat, they were all based on solar power. So you're like, oh, good, that's perfect. So we'll just wait for them all to die off. But they said, nah. No, they're going to find another power source. And their power source that they chose was human bodies, chat, where apparently the human body conducts a shit ton of electricity. And that was all the food they needed. We turned from their masters to their goddamn food source. That's what we are to them, chat. And so most humans now on the planet Earth, the exception of, I guess, a few thousand or whatever live in Xeon, which he mentions. Keanu was like, what's that? He says that is the last city buried miles and miles underground, which we will not show you in this movie, but we will introduce you to Xeon, where we're all going to have a rave and do drugs and have sex orgies. But that's another time, that comes in 2002. He's like, okay. And so he explains all this. And I love that he shows like a battery. It's like, whoa. I love that. I loved all that. And he's like, well, fuck, whoa, this is nuts. Like, well, then, what the hell are we gonna do? He's like, well, let me explain the Matrix to you. And so he starts explaining the Matrix. Like, in order to pacify us, they created this reality for us. They basically put us into this year where we live these, typical ordinary lives and things, and that's it. But, it's not real. However, you can get fucked up, though, in here. So if you get injured in the Matrix, you get injured out there. If you die in the Matrix, you die out there. And he's like, that's a lot to process. He says, I know, but it's fucking cool, right? And while they're all talking, like Neo was walking by all these ordinary, just these schmucks, Joe Schmoes and Jane Schmoes, chat. And then this very hot lady in a red dress, she's got big old bazungas, chat. And she's like, how you doing? He's like, whoa. And she walks by. But then, chat, when he fucking, looks back, boom, Agent Smith has a gun in his face. He's like, whoa. And Lawrence Fishburne's like, pause program. And he's like, these are the agents. These are the Smiths, okay? These guys are a bunch of bustas, all right? They were created by the robot squiddies to corral us, to control us. And they are very dangerous, okay? They've killed many people, many of my people. And when you see an agent, you get the fuck out. And he's like, okay. And so they suck him out of their chat. They do that. They end but great exposition scene. Like, they do so much world building within about 8 minutes. But it's so cool, and there's things happening, and we're going to different, when we go into the all-white room, and you have that chair there that Morpheus sits in and shit, explains this stuff. He has the battery. We go outside to what the fucking planet Earth looks like. We go inside this, mini program, what the Matrix is, a training program. All of it is so cool. I really, really love the way that they handled it, because ordinarily, it might have been very difficult to do this, but I will say the Wachowskis did this right by just showing you a lot of stuff at the same time while explaining a lot of stuff. So they did that right. And so they take him out of there. They take him out of their chat. And that's what Morpheus shows him around. Like, this is Nebuchadnezzar. This is my fucking ship and stuff. But then Neo's asking, he's like, okay, I understand all this is crazy, but why me? Why me? And Morpheus is like, because we believe you are the one. It was said by the Oracle. He's like, who's the Oracle? Oh, she lives inside the Matrix. She's a psychic lady we go to for advice. And she said there would be one who would be able to manipulate the Matrix from within, to do things that no other person can do, that no other thing that the Smiths can do, and these agents can do, and that you would lead our people, okay, to victory over the squiddies, the robot squiddies, and to regain our place as the dominant species of this planet, but to be a wiser species as well. So he's like, I'm like, Jesus? Yes, you're computer Jesus. So Neo Chat is computer Jesus. And he's like, that's a lot. And then he's like, okay, breakfast time. And so then Neo, he goes to breakfast time, chat, where apparently the main food source in this world is runny eggs or like cream of wheat, or like porridge. It's kind of like slop. I have no idea what it is, but they all sit down, and we're introduced to this character of Mouse, who we saw earlier, who's this very nerdy guy, and he's like, don't you, did you like your slop? And he's like, no. And he goes, to me it kind of tastes like chicken. And he goes on this whole thing, but what if chicken, because I never had chicken, so what if chicken doesn't taste like chicken? What if the machines didn't know what chicken tastes like? All right? And so that's why everything in the Matrix to us tastes like chicken, because they didn't know. Boom, blew your fucking mind. It's like, whoa, that's crazy, right, chat? And everyone's like, shut the fuck up, Mouse. And he's like, did you like her? Did you like her? He's like, who did I like? The woman in red, the lady in red, the big bazungas. And he's like, and Trinity's like, you better fucking answer correctly. He's like, she was okay. She's like, good. And you know that Mouse, he's like, I made her. You know that he's just always fucking jerking off to her like all the time, chat. Matter of fact, there's a scene later in the movie where he's looking at a picture of her like this, obviously fucking literally jerking off in the Matrix. Mouse, you gotta, there's other things, pressing things that are happening. No time for jerking. But he finishes his cream of wheat slop chicken dish, and he goes out and he talks to, I think it's Tank, who is the one of the few natural-born citizens of Xeon, chat, because he's like, Neo, Tom, he's like, where are your tubes? And he's like, I'm fucking El Natural, man. My parents were tube babies. I'm not one. And he's like, can we go to Xeon? He's like, not yet. We don't have a big enough budget, okay? We're not going to have raves and orgies yet. He's like, okay. And he's like, what do all these things do? And he's like, oh, it's really fucking cool, man. It's really fucking cool. These programs, I can download like these programs into you, and you can just learn stuff instantly, which is really fucking cool. So you can learn a language instantly. You can, or is it Xeon, or is it Xenon, or Xeon? Whatever the fuck the name is. Xeon. You know what? I'm gonna call it Xenon. Girl of the 21st century. Goddamn right. But I like the idea that you can just instantly, like, it's Zion. Oh, it's Zion. Whatever. Zion, Xeon, Xenon. It's all Zed. The city is Zed, chat. You know what I mean. I like the idea that you can basically just take these computer programs, put it inside your head, and you learn all this shit. And Neo's like, I would like to learn stuff too. And it's like, fantastic. And so they put him on there, and he uploaded a program, and it's like, jujitsu? And he's like, yeah, man, you want to learn? He goes, yeah. And he goes, plucks that in there, he goes, gah! And then he takes it out, and he goes, how is it, man? He's like, yeah, it was good. You want to keep doing it? Yeah. Let's do it again. And he puts like all these different martial arts inside of his head, Chad. Jiu-jitsu, judo, Krav Maga, karate, all kind of shit. Fucking even, it's Masters of Terakasi, Chad, the Star Wars martial arts game. That goes right inside of Neo's head as well. And, Morpheus comes by, he stops by and says, how long has he been doing this? And they're like 8 hours. And he's like, whoa, and that's pretty intense. And they unplug Neo right there. And Morpheus is like, how you doing? And, fucking Neo, Keanu Reeves has one of the most iconic lines in the movie where he looks up at Morpheus and goes, I know Kung Fu. And he's like, show me. And then we get, all the choreography and the fight choreography in this movie is fucking brilliant. But we get like the first awesome action scene between Morpheus and Neo, chat, where we have Neo in like the white, and we have Morpheus in the black. They're in like a dojo. And Morpheus explains this is like one of our training programs, and where you get to show me what you do. And he's like, try to land a hit on me, and Neo's like, okay, and it's fucking awesome. But Morpheus clearly is a master mixed martial artist, chat, within the Matrix. He knows his fucking shit, and he's able to block everything that Neo throws at him. They're jumping around. This is like a big homage to like Shaw Brother films and Hong Kong cinema, chat. There's wire work, but it's wire. There's a lot of wire work here, but it's some good grounded wire work where they're not. Oh shit! I'm streaming. Sorry. Someone is interrupting me, chat. The Matrix. They don't want me to know the Matrix. Oh, the DT alerts are on. Oh shit! I forgot about the DT alerts. Whoops, chat. Uh-oh. Whoa. Oh, I left one on. Chat. Boom. 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 We be good. I took care of them DT alerts, chat. Don't you worry. Don't you worry, chat. What was I saying? Oh yeah, so they're fighting. They're currently fighting, and Neo can't land a single fucking hit on Morpheus, chat. And like Morpheus kicks his ass, and Morpheus is like, are you ready to hit me? He's like, you're too fast. He's like, am I too fast? Or is that the Matrix making you think that I'm too fast? You think that's the case? Bend the Matrix to your will, Neo, and hit me. And so he fucking gets up, chat, and he starts doing all this fucking crazy kung fu and everything like that. And he basically doesn't hit Morpheus, but Morpheus he has to actually go back because he's kind of pinned to the wall, and fucking Neo's like, I'm gonna fucking hit you, and it's like, whoa, he fucking did it, and everyone's like, holy shit, chat. He basically hit Morpheus. Everyone's like, no one's ever done that before. He must be the one. And so Morpheus is like, all right, this is good. I love me hopefully finding the one. This is just what I want. Let's go to the next program, jumping. Load up the jumping program, okay? We're going to teach you how to jump good, Neo. Jump good? Yeah, jump good. And so they're on a skyscraper. And he's like, remember I told you how, it's just the Matrix thinking that you can only do certain things? Break the fucking Matrix, man. Okay, manipulate it around yourself, okay? It's not real. And so we see Morpheus like, I'm going to jump that other building over there and be really fucking cool. And he goes, bah, 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 and he jumps over Chad, and it's like, whoa, it's like a really long jump, and he just lands. Now you do it, Neo. Neo's like, okay, I could fucking do it. Everyone who's watching is like, there's no way he could fucking do it. No one has ever made it on the first go. But maybe, chat, maybe he is the one. And he's like, all right, everybody, let's go. And he's like, and he jumps. He's like, yeah, I'm doing it. Oh, fuck. And he starts falling. He's like, and then boing. And he goes inside the concrete, but it's all bouncy and shit. He lands up and goes boom. And everyone's like, oh, no. What does that mean? And everyone's like, it doesn't mean anything. That's all. It doesn't mean anything. No one ever makes the first jump. And Cypher, Joe Pantoliano, has been having the hots for Trinity the whole time. What do you think? Trinity? And she just leaves, chat. She just leaves because she doesn't know what to believe. Is this the man she's destined to love, or is he just some schmuck? We don't know yet. And so after that, he comes out of the Matrix, chat, and it's later in the evening or something. We see Cypher. He's looking at some monitors. He seems to be working on something. And then Neo comes up to him because he hasn't really had a conversation with him. He's like, hello, Cypher. And he's like, oh, shit. Oh, Neo, how you doing, man? How you doing? What's up? What's going on, buddy? He's like, nothing. I just want to talk to you. And he goes, yeah, no, I understand, man. I understand. Hey, no one ever makes the first jump. But you were kicking Morpheus' ass. Let me fucking tell you. That was some crazy fucking shit, man. Let me tell you. Yeah. And they just start staring at the screens of all the green text and the numbers and the characters coming down. And he's like, back in the day, I can read all this shit. I could tell you everything. But now I just see, all I see is hot blonde, hot brunette, hot redhead. He's like, haha, sexism. He goes, yeah, sexism is great. And he's like, listen, hey, man, just between, you and me, I mean, it's crazy, right? This whole shit, the Matrix and real life and how we live in this, dystopian society. But Man, I sometimes think, I can't help myself. I sometimes think, what if I took the blue pill? I should have took the fucking blue pill. Am I right, man? Huh? Am I right? He goes, yeah. And fucking he's like, well, I'll see you later, Cypher. He goes, yeah, kid. Get some sleep there. You did good. You did good. Yeah, you fucking son of a bitch. And so, Vanny, welcome to the stream. And so then, chat, we immediately cut. And Cypher is in the Matrix, and he's eating what I think is the most beautiful looking steak I've ever seen. I'm like, I want to eat that steak. Every time I see that steak, it's like, holy fucking shit. That mountain of just rare beef that looks like it has some sauces on it, and it looks so juicy. And it's like, oh my God. It looks delicious. But who's he fucking eating with, Chelo in the Matrix? Fucking Agent Smith. And, you know, at this point, Cypher's like, okay, listen, Smith and whatever. Yeah, I'll betray them. I'll betray them if I can get more steaks like this. I mean, am I fucking right? Look at this fucking piece of meat here. I'll kill everybody just to have another steak. And, you know, Agent Smith is like, yes, that is very good, Cypher. But we also need the access codes to the city of Zion. I told you I don't know them, okay? Morpheus knows the access codes. I give you him, okay? And then you plug me back into the Matrix. That is reasonable. Are you aware of the plan and what we intend to do? And he goes, yeah, I'm aware. All right, you're going to kill humanity. I don't give a fuck about humanity. Fuck humanity. Listen, when you plug me back in, I don't want to remember anything, okay? I don't remember the cream of wheat chicken slop I ate. I don't want to remember all the fucking rust and asbestos on the Nebuchadnezzar, whatever the fuck it's called. I don't want to know any of that, all right? I want to go in there. I want to be rich, okay? I want money, and I want to be important. Like an actor, which I thought was a little kind of like a fuck you to actors or something. I thought that was very funny. I like the sarcasm. He's like, anything you wish, anything you wish. And so, boom, Cypher is a dirty fucking rat. He's a dirty traitor, chap. And so it's like, I'm so mad at him, champ. I'm so mad at him. Eventually we go back to Nebuchadnezzar. No one's the wiser that Cypher was doing evil shit with Agent Smith, betraying the crew. But now Morpheus is like, okay, time for you to see the Oracle, Neo. We're all gonna go see the Oracle today, but we gotta be careful because the Smiths are gonna be watching us because we got you out of the Matrix, and clearly they want you for a good reason. And he's like, okay. And so they all go into the Matrix, chat. Like Morpheus, Neo, who looks a little bit better now. Trinity's got he doesn't have all the leather on him, but he's got some leather. APOC is there. Mouse also goes in, chat. Mouse, who apparently wants to have a bowl rim haircut in the Matrix. You can choose to look like anything you want in the Matrix. Why does he go for the bowl rim haircut? I do not know. I do not know, chat. But he goes in there too, and basically, Mouse, he's like, I'm gonna hold it down here. I'm going to, just watch out, inform you if there's any Smiths around. And they all get in a car, and they go to, they ride towards to the Oracle's apartment where she resides. And, Neo starts asking all these questions like, what did the Oracle tell you, Morpheus? And she told me I'd find the fucking one, man, and boom, there you are. My fucking life is complete. I can die now. And he's like, cool. Trinity, what did the Oracle tell you? And she's like, I don't want to say. Are you shy? I don't want to say right now. Because, chat, the Oracle told her, all right, well, I don't want to say now. I'm going to save that for later. Chat. It's a big fucking reveal. It's like, wow, cool. And so they all get out, and it looks like a normal fucking apartment building. They all go inside. They all stand at the front door, and they're like, and Morpheus is like, you must do this by yours. Because fucking Neo knocks and shit, and he opens the door, and it's like, this person is like, the Oracle will see you now. She's just finishing something up. Just give her a few moments. And Neo goes in. Morpheus doesn't enter, and Neo's like, don't you want to come inside? He's like, this is for you to experience. I'm just going to wait here and read a magazine. He's like, all right. So he goes inside. And the lady's like, she's almost done with what she's doing. You just talk to the kids. And there's all these little fucking abomination children everywhere, chat. And they're all doing psychic stuff. Like, they're all manipulating the matrix around them, chat. Like, you have this one little white cultural appropriator, chat, who's dressed like Aang from Avatar. And he's bending spoons with his mind. And Keanu's like, whoa. And he gets cross-legged down the kid. And the kid's like, the spoon is not actually there, okay? So you can manipulate the spoon. And Neo's like, okay. And he does it, Chad. He bends the fucking spoon. The kid's like, good job. And then, I guess these are all, like, possible the ones, but they're, like, not the ones, Chad. Does he really talk like that? Yes. Yes, he does. Black Citizen, thank you so much for resubscribing. 15 months of support, a year and some change. Thank you, Black Citizen. Very kind of you. Very kind of you. But what happens at this point? Oh, yeah. So Neo, he goes in and talks to the Oracle. Like, what was she so busy doing, chat? She was baking cookies. She was baking oatmeal, raisin cookies. And she's like, don't worry about breaking. And he's like, break what? And he knocks over Voss and he breaks it. She's like, I told you not to worry about it. He's like, whoa, you really are the Oracle. She goes like, goddamn right I am, honey. And it's like, goddamn right. And he's like, so you're going to tell me like what I'm supposed to do and who I am? She goes, let me get a good look at you. Yeah, you're not the one, honey. I'm going to tell you that. But, you know, do cool things, I suppose. He's like, I'm not. He's like, I'm sorry to disappoint you. I'm sorry to disappoint you, okay? But that doesn't mean you still play an important role in all this, all right? So here's a cookie and get the fuck out of my apartment. And he's like, okay. And so he fucking takes the cookie and just eats it. Good cookie. And he leaves. And he goes to Morpheus, I have something to say. He's like, it is only between you and the Oracle, my number one guy. Let's go. And so, chat, I will be back going to watch some DT Lums roasting. Okay, fair enough. But they leave, and they're heading back to the apartment. They all go in the car and shit, and they get to the building. They all enter the building, but Joe Pantoliano, chat, he throws like a phone. He like makes all these. Like he turns a phone on or something, like this very, I mean, you know, 90s-esque cell phone, which is huge. He throws in the trash, and it's clearly like it's a beacon for the Smiths, like, here we are. But they all go inside the building, and they start walking up the stairs because they're going to go to the location of the phones, like they all go get out of the Matrix for the day. But then while they're passing by this one hallway, Neo sees this black cat, and he goes, black cat. And he like goes up to the stairs, but he turns around, and he sees the black cat do like the same move, exactly the same move over again. And he's like, what the hell? And he goes, whoa, deja vu. And they're like, what'd you say? He's like, deja vu. I saw this black cat and I saw it like twice do the same thing. They're like, whoa, what do you mean? What black cat? What black cat? And he goes like, this is a black cat over there. It would just walk by and then it walk by again. And they're like, oh, fucking shit. And he's like, what's going on? It's the Smiths. It's the agents. They're manipulating the Matrix. These are glitches in the system. They're changing the Matrix itself. And they're like, we got to get out of here immediately. He's like, whoa, what's going on? And they're like, Mouse. We need to fucking go. They're Smiths. And Mouse, what's he doing, Chad? He's fucking jerking to a picture of the lady in red, her big bazungas. Mouse, now is not the time. You are supposed to be aware of what's going on. I don't give a shit that he dies. Everyone's like, oh, I'm so sorry that Mouse died. Fuck him. He shouldn't have been jerking off when it's a very dangerous situation, okay? When you go see your Oracle, chat, it's a top priority fucking mission. All right? We're just trying to save the human race. But you go ahead, Mouse. You go ahead and jerk off for everybody. That's great. And he goes through a window, chat. He's like, we gotta look for an exit, and it's all bricked up. So what the Smiths have done, chat, the agents have done, is they've bricked up the entire building, so there's no way that they can escape. But they still like, okay, shit, we gotta go, we gotta keep going up and get into a room. But when we cut to Mouse, because all the fucking agents are starting to run up there, you hear them, the SWAT team and the police, they burst down the goddamn door. Mouse, who finally is done jerking, chat, but his dick is just flopping in the wind. But he takes these like two huge auto shots. He's just going, ah! And he gets his shit blown in, chat. He dies. Mouse gets killed. And if you die in the Matrix, as I explained to you, chat, as Morpheus explained to you earlier, chat, you also die in real fucking life. That's what happens, chat. That's what happens. So he dies, he's dead, and he's like, blah, 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 and all that shit. But at this point, like, okay, you got people coming from the top, people from the bottom. Like, where's the team gonna go? This is great. They actually hide inside the walls of the abandoned hotel, and they start like climbing down because like we gotta get out of it. So we're gonna go down the basement and go through the sewer system and get out of there. And so this is great. I love this scene. And they're slowly going down one by one, being as quiet as possible, Chad, as all the Smiths and the SWAT team are all like looking for him and stuff. And like this one SWAT guy checks the room, this like abandoned bathroom. He looks in and stuff. He's about to turn away, but then all this rubble, like a little bit of the rubble and dust comes down and lands on everyone's heads. And a fucking Cypher, Chad, that piece of shit. He's like, achoo, and he sneezes, achoo. And the fucking policeman's like, oh, they're in the walls! They're in the fucking walls! And he starts like shooting and everything like that. And they're like, oh! They start shooting behind the wall too. And the police and the SWAT team, he takes cover. He's like, hey, everybody, they're in the wall. And then Agent Smith is able to take over the bodies of the human battery people, like the SWAT team. And so Agent Smith, he takes over the body, so it's Agent Smith now, and he starts firing at this point. He starts punching the fucking wall trying to get him, and Morpheus is like, get the fuck out of here. You need to leave now. They can't get Neo. And he goes, oh, and he just bursts through the fucking wall and just starts pummeling the shit out of Agent Smith, chat, just one after the other. He's like, go. And they're like, Morpheus. He's like, fucking go. And they just fall. They just fall behind the wall, which is until they end up at the bottom. They all go. They find this sewer grate. They lift it up and they all jump in down there. But Cypher's like the last one he's like, because the SWAT team's down there. They're all firing gas grenades and he goes off in a different direction. They're like, Cypher, what are you doing, Cypher? He's like, don't worry, I'll be fine, you dumb fucking schmucks. And so they all hide. He gets, and we also cut back to Morpheus, and Agent Smith's like, Morpheus. And he just starts pummeling the shit out of Morpheus, chat, like it's no chance. Like, if you see a fucking agent, what do? You run. You fucking run, chat. But yeah, it's great. No, it's very well done, technician. Agreed. All the practical stuff in this movie is handled very well, and there's a lot of great practical shots in this film, thankfully. I think the Matrix sequels, they get way too CGI heavy. And there's some CGI in this film, and it's dated. Of course, there's green screen that's dated. But there's a lot of great practical scenes in this film, and most of the fight scenes, the hand-to-hand stuff, looks excellent still to this day, 20 plus years later. But Agent Smith kicks Morpheus' ass, and they capture him at that point. We cut to Cypher, who has gotten out of the building. He like calls them on his cell phone, and he says, "Hey guys, I got out. Tank, Doza, let me know where I can escape." And then basically there's like these little locations in the Matrix where you can leave to get out of there, like a landline connection. And they say there's one right here. It's at this shop. It's this antique store. He runs over there. He gets out of the Matrix. And he's back with everybody else. He's back with Tank and Dozer on the Nebuchadnezzar. We then cut to the rest of the crew who are just, they got in the sewers, they got out of the grate, and now they're on the street, and then they're being directed to go to the same location that Cypher was. They all run over there. But right before they're about to pick up the phone, chat, we cut back to the Nebuchadnezzar because Cypher, he's a traitorous sumbitch, and he gets this giant fucking Tesla cannon, chat, and he's like, "How you doing, boys?" And he shoots Tank, chat, with this giant Tesla cannon and goes, pfft. He's like, ah! And then we see Dozer going, "No, my little bro." And he's like, ooh, and he runs at Cypher, and then Cypher hits him right in the fucking gut, chat, with a Tesla cannon blast. Just explodes everywhere, chat. And then we cut back to Trinity, who tries to use the phone, but it's not working. She's like, "Tank, Dozer, you there?" And then we just hear him, chat. "You dumb fucks." And they're going, "Cypher, what are you talking about?" He's like, I betrayed you for a steak. I just want meat again. I just want to eat fucking meat." And he's like, "You fucking set this whole thing up." I did indeed, Trinity. You dumb bitch. I don't care about you. I don't care about this Neo thing. All right, it's over. All right, it's over. Okay, there's nothing you can do here. And it's like, you can't leave us in here to die. He's like, I can do whatever the fuck I want. I think I can do whatever I want. And he just starts monologuing his ass off. And, like, he goes over to Trinity, and he's like, for so long, Trinity, I loved you. I thought I loved you. But maybe before I plug myself back in, maybe I'll take a spin on you for a little while. Like, I'm going to rape you while you're in the Matrix. It was really fucked up. This scene is hard as fuck. It's a great scene. And Joe Pantoliano does a great job with the chat. And he's like, but before I do that, before I have some fun, I'm going to kill off some supporting characters. And so he goes over to APOC, unplugs him, he dies. And then you have Switch. She's like, not like this. Not like this. And she dies too. And Trinity's like, God damn it, Cypher. He's like, what can I say? I'm adorable. Aren't I a stinker? And he's like, oh, what about your little boy toy? What about your boyfriend there, Neo? So handsome. Well, what's the thing? Here's the thing, Trinity. If I just remove this, if he's indeed the one, it won't even hurt him. He'll live forever. And that's what he is. He's computer Jesus. So don't fucking worry about it, okay? I'm gonna count down to one, okay? I'm gonna count down to one. He'd be all dramatic and shit. All right, here we go. 3, 2. But meanwhile, in the background, we see little Tank stand up, and he grabs the Tesla cannon, and fucking Cypher's like, no, it's impossible. And he's like, fuck you, motherfucker. And he blasts Joe Pantoliano with the Tesla cannon, chat. He shoots across Nebuchadnezzar and just explodes in cauterized meat, chat. He became what he wanted, chat. Steak. Well done. And he's dead. And then Tank, who's like holding his tummy inside, he gets the situation. He sucks out Trinity, and he sucks out Neo, and they're okay. And are like, holy fucking shit. Like, everybody's, so many people are dead. So many people are dead now. They put the bodies in the meat chunks under blankets and stuff. And they're like, this is a really bad situation. Morpheus has been captured by the Smiths. And Neo's like, what does that mean? And it's like, well, they're going to break him. They're going to find the access codes to Zion, or Zion, whatever you want to call it, Zion. And if they do that, the Robo-Squiddies will come in there and put us all back into the Matrix and kill us all. And he's like, whoa, that's bad. It's like really bad. So I'm going to have to unplug Morpheus and kill him. And they're like, no. No one else dies today. And he's like, what are you saying? We're going to go in there and we're going to find Morpheus. And Trinity's like, that's suicide. And he's like, Trinity, I have something to, she's like, but we can't lose you, Neo. You're so important. You're the one. He's like, Trinity, I have something to tell you. She's like, what is it? I am not the one. The Oracle told me I'm not the one. I'm just a guy. And as this guy, I want to save a really good friend, even though I haven't known you guys for a long time. But like, you're like my family, all right? You're like my friends and stuff. And I want to go ahead and save Morpheus. He's done so much for me. He's done so much for you, and also you and these other people whose names I don't know. We have to do this, okay? And she's like, okay, we'll fucking do it. And it's like, let's do it. What do we need? And chat, we transition from that, and we see that Morpheus is being interrogated by the Smiths. And by the way, Lawrence Fishburne's got some huge fucking pores. Like, he's super sweaty, but the camera gets so close to his face that you could see the pores on him. It's like, god damn. Exfoliate your skin, Lawrence Fishburne. Exfoliate. But they're plugging him with things and putting fluids inside of him, trying to get the access codes, but like nothing's working. He keeps resisting them. And then Agent Smith at this point is like, because he tells the other agents, he's like, leave me alone with him. I'll talk to him and I will break him. They're like, all right. And so they leave, chat. And he's like sitting there, he goes, Morpheus, I've wanted to meet you for quite some time, and I want to be honest with you. I want to level with you. He like takes off his glasses, like the first time he takes off his glasses, chat. Kind of like a man to man, if you will. I want to let you know that I despise your race. You disgust me. It's not what you've done. It's not just the fact that you go from place to place, destroy its resources, destroy the environment. I could care less. The thing that disgusts me about you is your smell. I always have it in my nose. And he does this really gross thing where he rubs Lawrence Fishburne's sweaty fucking head, it's so sweaty, chat. He's like, and he goes, don't you hate the stink, Morpheus? He's like, oh God. And Morpheus's reaction is fucking amazing. He's like, oh, he's like, I smell so bad. And then he straddles Morpheus, Shed. He straddles Morpheus. Get them thick Agent Smith thighs around Lawrence Fishburne. He's like, I want to get out of here. I fucking hate the Robo-Squiddies. Just give me the codes, and I will create a better world than this one. And I love it because it shows that the Smiths are the creation of our creation, Chad. They're the creation of the Robot Squiddies, but the Smiths resent, or at least this Agent Smith resents them. He hates them. It's like you have two different villains in this film with two different objectives in it. And Agent Smith, he just wants to escape, and maybe he wants to do some evil shit, but I like the idea is that's my plan. I want to get the fuck out of here. I'm tired. He's tired of being a security guard, because that's what he is. He's the Norton antivirus of the Matrix shit. That's what the agents serve. And he's like, I gotta get the fuck out of here. I can't take this anymore. I've been doing this for who knows, hundreds of years, and I gotta leave. And I love that he just gets really honest about it. I think that's really fucking cool. He too has evolved. It's the smell. I just love that. And he there's more to his monologue, but Hugo Weaving does such a great job in this scene. People typically when they think of the Matrix, they think of the big action scenes or the CGI, but there's some really fucking good acting in here. And Hugo Weaving, his whole monologue about I gotta get the fuck out of here is great. So sweaty. So good. Meanwhile, chat, we cut down to the lobby. Oh, no, before that, we cut to Trinity and Neo, and they're kind of in the white training room where Morpheus was explaining the Matrix itself. And, fucking Tank is like, what do you guys need? And Neo goes, guns. Lots of guns. And then we see these infinite just racks of all these weapons, chat, shotguns, SMGs, assault rifles, pistols, grenades, rocket launchers, all this crazy fucking shit. And Trinity tells Neo, no one's ever done this before. And Neo's like, no one's ever done it yet. And she goes, that's pretty much what okay. And so they load it all up. Neo gets a fucking upgrade. Trinity gets a cooler leather jacket and shit. And they're just carrying all these fucking guns in these bags as they waddle up to the central headquarters of the Smiths, chat. They go in there. There's some security guards. They're like, who the fuck are these guys? They put the guns through the metal detector. They put them right in the metal detectors. And Neo and Trinity, they step through and stuff. And, of course, the thing goes off. And it's like, excuse me, sir, we just want to check you with our little detector here. And they start doing could you take off your coat? Could you open your coat for me? And Neo just does it. And there's 50 fucking guns. They're like, holy fucking shit. And they just lay down a smackdown, chat. This scene is awesome. I think they had to shoot most of this in not one take, but certain parts, because they built this one room. It's this one room, and so much of this scene is practical. There is CGI enhancement, of course, but a lot of this scene is practical, and they just built this, so we have to get this fucking right. So they had to master the choreography here to a fucking T. They needed to cross the T's and dot all the I's in terms of the choreography, chat. Because, at this point, the movie was already over budget. They're like, we got to get this right. And they did. They fucking nailed it, chat. They nailed it. And everything about this, how they're moving around, even the slow motion, using all the fucking weapons, killing all these security guards, which, it's kind of feel bad for them because they're just a bunch of human batteries. That's all they are, just doing this is what we're supposed to do. And they're all just being slaughtered and shit. But, hey, you got to do it, man. You can't let Morpheus break and give the codes to Agent Smith because it'll be bad for the people of Zion, or whatever it's called. And so they're all doing all this amazing choreography, chat, gun kata stuff. It's beautiful. And, they fight all the way up to the elevator shaft, take out all these SWAT guys, all these security guards. It's a beautiful thing to see, chat. So, and the wall running, like, there's so much in this scene. It's even hard to just go over every detail, but it's very well done. It's very well done. And they're like, well, it's going to be hard to get to Morpheus, so we're going to go in through the window. So they go now, another iconic scene coming up here. We go all the way up they take the elevator all the way up to the top, and they're on the roof. And where they're like, okay, we're going to have to, and that's where they see some of the Smiths, because the Smiths get word of this, and Agent Smith, he tells the other agents, fucking take care of it. And they're like, I love this too. It's very interesting, because the other agents go into the interrogation room, and they see what Agent Smith is doing with Morpheus, and they go in, and are like, what are you doing? Like, it's the first time where the other Smiths or the other agents are like, what the fuck is going on here? And, like, he puts his glasses back on, he's like, nothing is wrong. And they're like, okay, yeah, they're attacking the building. He's like, take care of it. And so we come up to the top of the building, and they're still fighting people up there, some security guards and shit, but one of the security guards turns into one of the agents at this point. And we get the iconic fucking scene of the agent pointing his gun at Neo and shooting, chat, and it's the bullet time where he fucking does it, where he leans all the way back. And it's a little dated now, but it's just a very cool idea where he just passes over him, chat. It's like, whoa, holy shit! But he does get hit. It does hit that thick Neo thigh, chat, and he falls down. And he basically steps right up to, the one about to blow his, head off, chat. But then Trinity, because that's the thing, because Neo, he also, like, shoots at the agent and shit. But he misses because he's dodging all that. But then he's about to shoot Neo, and Trinity comes up behind him and says, dodge this. Boom! Gets him right in the fucking face, chat. Dead. Or kind of dead. And it turns back in the regular, like, security guard, helicopter pilot or whatever. And she goes, how the fuck? And Trinity helps Neo up. And she goes, how did you move that fast? And he goes, well, not fast enough because I got hit. But she's like, no one's ever moved that fast before. She's like, that's fucking nuts. Witness me. Thank you so much, Red Wing, for the rain. Everybody on the dance floor. Right, that's like, she's like, you moved like they do. That's what she says. Currently in the middle of my review for The Matrix, Red Wing. I hope you're doing very well. What are you playing today, man? Mm-hmm. Good to see you. Good to see you. But they see that there's a helicopter there, and he's like, do you know how to fly a helicopter? She's like, not. And she's like, not yet. Tank. She's like, all right, I'm going to load up this helicopter program in your head. And she goes, nyeh. She's like, all right, let's fucking go. And so they get into a helicopter, chat. They get inside one. And they fly out to the window that Agent Smith is in with the other agents. Because Agent Smith's like, what the fuck you guys doing? Why you back here? It's like, well, we kind of lost and stuff. He's like, what? And we see, like, Trinity flying the helicopter and Neo on the side with this giant fucking Gatling gun. And Agent Smith's like, oh, shit. And he just... And Neo just starts shooting this thing inside the window, sets off all the fucking fire alarm shell. The water starts pouring down. It's a beautiful scene as all this hot molten lead goes in the room shell. The Smiths are going... They're just getting got at this point, and they stop shooting because Morpheus is still he's still high in his own scent, chat. And like Morpheus and Trinity are like, Morpheus, get up, and Morpheus is like, and he like breaks he has like, he's handcuffed and he snaps them, and he just starts fucking moving. He's like, he just starts running. But then these other like guards come in, the other Smiths, like they're like, we're alive again, and they start shooting at Morpheus, and they get him in his thick thigh, chat. He gets shot like in his ankle or something. And Keanu, fucking Neo, he's like, he's not gonna make it. And so he takes like this cable, and he jumps forward, and he catches Morpheus, and he wraps his thick Keanu Reeves thighs around Morpheus and gets him in a big old bear hug, and he's being all cuddly, and they fly off to it. It's like, hell fucking yeah. But they got Morpheus, chat, and the Smiths are like, fuck, no way. And they're really pissed off. They're like, kill them, get that helicopter. And so Trinity, she's flying the helicopter, but they're being shot at. The helicopter's being shot at by the Smiths and all the other people, and hit the fuselage, the gasoline tank and shit. And it's like, this fucking thing's going down, Chad. The helicopter's going down. Morpheus and Neo, they fall on top of like a skyscraper. They get on there, chat. The helicopter's going off the edge. And, you know, fucking Keanu Reeves is like, I'm coming for you, Trinity. And he grabs the cable, chat. It's Trinity. She jumps out of the helicopter, grabs the cable in midair as it hits the fucking building behind her. The explosion propels her forward, chat. And boom! She hits this glass window, which the glass window was real. That was actually Carrie-Anne Moss hitting that glass window, chat. That's why it works. The thing behind her is obviously not real, obviously. The helicopter exploding. But when she hits that glass, that was actually Carrie-Anne Moss hitting that glass, and it looks fucking great. And then fucking Neo pulls her up, and she's like, holy shit, put a baby in me already. He's like, next time. And it's like, let's get the fuck out of here. And so they start running, chat, because thankfully they got Tank on the line. He's like, there's a phone in the subway. Go down there. Okay, you can all get out. They go down the subway, chat. And they're like, Morpheus, you first because you're shot and you're really fucked up. He's like, no problem, the one. He's like, that's not who I am. And she's like, I have to tell you, Morpheus, the Oracle, she said, she told you what you needed to hear. And he's like, what? It'll all come in time. And so he goes on the phone. He's transported out of there, chat. And Trinity, she's like, Neo, I just wanted to tell you. He's like, you can tell me when we get back. You just get your keister in there. And she's like, all right. And then behind her, chat, we see the fucking, this homeless man who's just drinking. He's like, what the fuck? We also see what it looks like when the person goes inside the phone back out into the real world. It's all like trippy and shit. He's like, whoa. But he starts to transform into an Agent Smith, chat, because they're tracking him at this point. It's like, oh, God. And so when Trinity, she's about to leave, but she sees Agent Smith stand up and shoots her, and boom! The whole phone booth explodes, but she gets out of there, chat. But now Neo, he can't use the phone booth. And we see fucking Agent Smith, chat. Mr. Anderson, it has been some time. Are you going to start running? And, he's like, Neo, he looks towards the exit of the subway. Like, I should just start running. And fucking Trinity and Morpheus and Tank, they're telling him, run, Neo, run. But he's like, no, I'm not gonna run. And it's like, here we go, Chance. Kind of like a Wild West type of thing, where they both pull their fucking guns out, but they like jump at each other. And so they grab each other's wrists with a gun. They're shooting over their fucking bullets and stuff. And like all in slow motion, they land on the ground and they got the guns to each other's heads. And Agent Smith's like, you're out of bullets. And he's like, so are you. And it's like, damn it. And it's like, let's just fucking kung fu fight. And the choreography, the fight scene between Hugo Weaving and Keanu Reeves, brilliant, chat. So goddamn good. This is them doing it. The camera work is great. The camera work is steady. It's a lot of medium shots where you see everything. You see what they're all doing, chat. It's really, really good. Holds up to this day. And they're just throwing punches. But Agent Smith, he's still a little bit better than Neo. But fucking Neo, he gets a good pop right into fucking Agent Smith's face. Breaks his glasses. And kind of makes Agent Smith a little flustered. And he's like, Mr. Anderson, I'm going to enjoy. Oh, no, he says. No, this is what he says. He says, I'm going to enjoy killing you, Mr. Anderson. And they fucking go at it, chat. And they start doing all this kung fu fighting. And again, Agent Smith, he's at an advantage. He beats Neo. He throws him in all the concrete walls and shit. All this stuff's coming down, all this debris. And eventually he throws him onto the tracks, chat. Throws him on the tracks, and he hears a train coming. He sees and hears a train coming, and he fucking grabs onto Neo, and he puts him in a headlock. Is like, and there it is, Mr. Anderson. Death approaches like it does with all of you disgusting, stinking people. This is goodbye, Mr. Anderson. And then Neo's like, Neo's like, my name is Neo. And he fucking like throws himself up in Agent Smith and rams Agent Smith into the concrete above, just like knocks the wind out of him. They drop down. Fucking Neo does a backflip in midair. And Agent Smith's like, oh, as he's hit, boom, just hit by that fucking train, chat. Run over by that goddamn train. Neo, he's like, whoa, that was fucking cool. And he gets out of there, chat. He starts walking away like, I got to get the fuck out. Everyone's like, holy shit, he defeated a Smith. Or did he defeat the Smith? Because all of a sudden, chat, the train fucking stops, and Mr. Smith, he gets out of the train, and he just fixes his tie. He just took over another fucking body chain. He's like, fuck. And so Neo, he's like, I gotta run now. He takes off running, chat. He's got to contact Trinity, Trinity, Morpheus, and Tank, because I don't know where I'm going. I need to find a point. And he grabs some random guy's phone. He goes like, "Hey man, it's my fucking phone." And the hey man guy, he turns into Agent Smith. Like Agent Smith is transporting himself so fast so he can just keep up with Neo. And he gets on the phone. He's like, "Guys, where the fuck am I going?" And they're like, "Okay, we found one. We found a point. You just got to go in this direction." He's like jumping down alleyways, he's going to buildings, up fire escapes, goes inside this apartment building. He's running, and he's like, "You gotta go right." And he's like, "We talking?" He's like, "No, you're other right." And he goes left. He goes left, chat. And he goes in there, jumps through all these apartments, and he's like, "Okay, it's coming up immediately on your left. Just go in there, and you're home free." And he goes, opens the door. Agent Smith is standing with a gun. Boom! Shoots him right in the chest. He's like. And Agent Smith goes boom, boom, chat, shoots him 2 more times. Neo hits the wall. Falls down dead, chat. Meanwhile, the Smiths have found out where the Nebuchadnezzar is located currently on the underground, the underground of the earth, and they have informed the robot squiddies, and so a pack of robot squiddies are on their way, chat, to get inside the Nebuchadnezzar and kill the humans. Kill Morpheus and Trinity and Tank. So at this point, it's like, oh, fucking shit, this isn't good. And Trinity is like, she's right there with, because, Neo's life signs are like, he's dead, but they're like, sometimes like they're little faint. And Trinity's like, oh, Jesus Christ, oh, God. And she's like, Neo, you are the one. You have to do this. You have to do this. And he's like, there's nothing. She's like, I'm going to tell you. You asked me, and I was afraid to tell you. I was afraid to tell you what the Oracle told me. And she said that I would fall in love with the one, that I would be with him. And I do. And she was right. I love you. I love you, Neo. And then that's all he needed, chat. The power of love. And he's like, and he gets up, chat. He gets up. The bullets come out of him like fucking Wolverine and shit. The agents are like leaving at this point. And they turn around. They're like, what the fuck is happening here? What's all this bullshit? And they just start firing. They just start firing at Neo and shit. And Neo's like, no. And he holds up his hand. They're like, Neo. Everyone's like, Neo. And he stops the bullets in midair, chat. And the agents are like, what the fuck? And all the bullets, he stops in midair, and he moves them. He just moves them around, chat, in midair, and they all fall down. Boo, 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 boo. And everyone's like, how did he do that? And fucking Morpheus is like, because he is the one. And we see what Neo sees for the first time, and he sees the Matrix, he sees the code, he sees what it is, and he sees what the Smiths are finally. And Agent Smith's like, fuck this bullshit. He fucking runs up on Neo, is like, I'm gonna kill you dead. And he starts kung fu fighting, and Neo nonchalantly, like it's nothing, just starts using both his hands at first, like blocking all of Agent Smith's blows and stuff, until he just puts one hand behind his back, and he's moving so fucking fast, until he just punches Agent Smith. Agent Smith's like, oh, and shit. And then Neo's just like, you know what, Agent Smith? You're looking pretty good. And he's like, what? Yeah, you're looking breedable. He's like, oh no. And Neo fucking jumps at Agent Smith and goes inside of his belly button, chat. Goes inside of his tummy. And he's like, oh God. He impregnates Agent Smith, chat. And Agent Smith starts, and he explodes, chat. He births Neo. And Agent Smith he's gone. Well, for now. And he comes back later on somehow, which is weird. But he seemingly kills him, chat. He seemingly kills Agent Smith. And he breathes. And it's a really cool effect where he's like, and he breathes in, and like the whole fucking like hallway is like, it moves with his breath and stuff. It's like, whoa. And he just opens his eyes, and the music's like really dramatic, and the Smiths are like, yeah, fuck this. And they fucking run away. They get the hell out of there, chat. The agents just run. But the Robo Squiddies are still trying to get inside the Nebuchadnezzar chat. They're basically inside at this point. They're inside. They're looking like, we want humans, we want batteries. They want batteries, chat. And they're like, no! And he like goes to the fucking phone shit. He picks up the phone just as a Robo Squiddy is right above Trinity and Neo's body and Morpheus. Like, it's right on top of them. And Trinity's like, ah! And then Lawrence Fishburne, because they pull Neo out right the last second, goes, and then he hits the EMP, chat, sends out this EMP blast, and it disables and kills all the Robo Squiddies in this area, chat. And then we cut. And then we immediately cut, and we see some computer text and shit, and it's like saying error, 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 error. And we hear Keanu Reeves going, "You don't know me, but I am the one. I will defeat you. I will free my brothers and sisters, and humanity will regain its place. I am the one." And he just gets off the phone. Basically, he's just telling the fucking machines. He's telling the Smiths, like, don't fuck with me. I got this shit. And he gets out of the phone booth, chat, walking among all the people. We then cut to like the like an overhead shot of the city, and we see Neo fly up like Superman. And he has mastered the Matrix, chat. He is breaking all the rules. He's bending it to his will. And that, my friends, is The Matrix, the 1999 action sci-fi classic directed by the Wachowskis, chat. Boom. Boom! And that end song's great. End song is fucking great. Birth, Mr. Anderson. You don't know me, but y'all looking beautiful. And he fucking impregnated Mr. Smith. It's fucking nuts. I was like, oh my God, no. Oh, but there you go, Chad. That, my friends, was indeed The Matrix. I hope you liked it. Hope you liked the review. Whew, it was a fun time, Chad. It was a pretty goddamn fun time. Oh, my Lord. Oh, my Lord. But now, guys, I am going to move on